So I don't know if you guys have heard of the saying, curiosity has killed the cat, right? Well, curiosity almost killed me on more than one occasion growing up. I too grew up in a small town like Travis. And, in a small town, you got to make small town fun, right? So, maybe or maybe not against the law, those kind of things. Anyway, so I had a kind of, I like to call it a Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn kind of childhood. I just, we had a secret handshake. We had the hut in the mountains, the whole thing, and my Huck Finn was my best friend, Tiffany. And Tiffany was a year older and a year wiser. And, I looked up to her and she could talk me into anything, right? So I called Tiff up and I said, hey, Tiff, I'm going to be maybe divulging some of our antics publicly, and how do you feel about that? And she said, well, good thing the statute of limitations is up on some of this, or, you might get prosecuted for some of this if it wasn't. And I thought, okay, blah, 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 legalese. Okay, well, she's a paralegal now. So there's the irony in that as well. And I'm a teacher, and I know, okay, don't panic before, I don't have a criminal background, really. I didn't get caught, but anyway, so don't worry, I'm not contributing to the delinquency of minors or anything, because I don't have a criminal background for reals, but anyway. So Tiffany often would try to talk me into things, and she'd just come up to me and be like, and I'm telling you, this started in kindergarten, right? Kindergarten through 7th, 8th grade, we were on the town. Okay, so she'd come up to me and she'd be like, how about I'm there. Do you want to try this? Oh, count me in. And I'm like, oh, and so, Tiffany even told me that our mutual friend's grandpa was kidnapped by aliens and convinced me to look for the UFO all night. Maybe grandpa's in the window. I don't know, And I'm like, okay, I'm there. Yeah. Oh, let's see if we can find the UFO, Yeah. Anyway, so again, that type of friend, right? Talk me into anything. So I played basketball in junior high, and I happened to be sitting, well, this is, fast forward a few years, so 7th grade-ish. I should have been wiser by then. We're not, newsflash, you're not, anyway. So I was sitting there, and I was, lacing up my Air Jordans after basketball practice, and, because in the 80s, everybody had Air Jordans. I don't know about, Air Jordan fans out there, but I had my pair, so I'm lacing them up, and I happened to glance up at the ceiling and see this hatch, and I'm thinking, curiosity. I wonder where that hatch leads. So I kind of just, thought about it for a hot minute, and then a couple of days later, I went up to Tiff, and I'm like, have you ever noticed that hatch that's in the girls' locker room? Oh, yeah, I've been up in that hatch. You can get up there and go all the way across the school and end up in the girls' bathroom. You can go all exploring up in the ceiling. And I thought, well, that's kind of a cool idea. I'm going to give that a whirl, So I invited a couple of my friends, and we decided a couple days later that we'll go up in that hatch and kind of explore around, So we climbed up the lockers, and we kind of, creaked open the hatch. And okay, I don't know how many of you guys have seen Nightmare on Elm Street, but I'm telling you, it's the boiler room. Okay, air vents, ducts, dust, who knows what the bodies, who knows what's up there, right? So I'm looking around thinking, where do I even start? Me and my friends are like, I'm like, do you want to walk? And I'm, you try it, So of course, I'll give it a whirl, So they're standing there watching me, and I start walking across the ceiling. So I'm like, tentatively, I'm going to pull up my pants because these are kind of long and I don't want to fall. So anyway, so I'm kind of creaking along, walking kind of tentatively, and I get a fair good, momentum or whatever. And all of a sudden I hear this, and I looked back at my friends and I'm like, do you hear that? And they're like, oh, nothing. So I kept going, and kaboom. So right into the boys' locker room. The boys' locker room showers, no less, So as you can imagine, here I am in junior high. Is there anything more horrifying to a junior high girl than ending up in the boys' locker room shower? Now, not that I didn't want to see it at some point in time in my life. Just not like that, right? So anyway, I'm sitting there, and I'm pulling off pieces of ceiling and dust, hairballs from the boys' locker, those kind of things. And I'm thinking and I'm like, checking my bones. Oh gosh, one more thing, I managed to survive. I am not dead, so we're good. And I look up at my friend's eyes, white as saucers, like, what just happened? And they're like, well, I think I wisely decided to go back down the way they came. I don't think they wanted to enter the locker room the way I did. So they climbed back down, and we just like took off like shots. Like we didn't want anybody like Buzz to give us, to catch us, because like and again, in a small town, they knew my name, right? And my brothers, and the whole family. So anyway, my understanding is there was a reward out of a few $100s actually, which in today's currencies might be like $1 million, So, but, I mean, my friends didn't rat me out, so I'm very happy. I did, nobody ever found out who vandalized the junior high and all that. So lucky for me, they didn't rat me out or anything. So anyway, that story is luckily no longer has a statute of limitations on it. Now, there may or may not be some more recent things that I have possibly attempted, misdemeanor here and there, but the statute of limitations might not be up on that. And to save my husband, who is a real rule follower, from having a heart attack, my wise paralegal friend once said, you got to avoid self-incrimination. So I'm going to plead the fifth.